Hey Track Gang, what's going on in this week's episode of the Boeville in Newtown? Well, it's right over here. Stand by and we'll get into what's happening this week. Well, hello Track Gang and welcome to episode 37. Sorry I turned around a little way, but hey, it is what it is. It happens to be December 2nd, 2023, and this is episode 37 for 2023. I've been, after all the discussions and the talk and everything else that's been going on lately about my scenery over here, and the fact that I saw that video from Chadwick, and it's definitely, I think, the way to go, and how I'm going to do it, you're going to have to stick around for that, because we're not quite there yet, because the first thing that has to happen is I have to complete that damn scene. So this afternoon, I've been messing around with placement and trying to figure things out, and a thought occurred to me that it might be better, instead of trying to use the pre-made bridges that I've got sitting or had sitting over there, I'm going to scratch build a bridge. What am I thinking? After all the pains I'm going through with this stinking Willamine house, I'm taking a break from it for a moment because it went ahead and irked the crap out of me the other night, but that's another story. You'll have to catch that when we get to part two. So, what have I been working on? Well, I've been working on, as I said, placement of that bridge. Now, I am going to use some pre-made parts. Obviously, I can't scratch build everything for over there, but as you all know, I had a set of Atlas bridge piers that Santa Fe Bob had sent me a while back, along with the Atlas track things and everything else. And after messing with it, if you remember, I had two bridge piers up there at one point to hold the bridges up. I decided to scale that back. I'm only going to put in one set of bridge piers. And I just got finished modifying the set out of the ones that I went ahead and cut up. So I'm going to swing you all down here for a moment. I just got finished gluing this together. It looks like a little bit of a mess at the moment, and that's fine. Because what I'm going to actually come back and do once this dries real well, because it's not dry yet, but we're going to skim it with this other brick pattern that I picked up at the train show, and hide a lot of the parts that are in here to this, and to kind of hide the gaps and the cuts and things that I've put into this poor thing to this point. So, once it dries, I'm going to take you over there and I'm going to show you at least part one of this. And that's going to require a little bit of modification to what's existing. It's not a huge deal, but I am going to have to modify the original bridge idea or bridge piers that I had kind of already started on that upper part for the interurban line. But I think this is going to work out a lot better. It's going to be a lot cleaner. Now, the front bridge, which will be the interurban line, I'm going to explain it more once we get over there, but I'm going to take that bridge girder, or I'm sorry, the deck bridge that was up there. I don't know who manufactured that thing. I'm not using that for this. I'm going to use it as plans for what I'm looking to do with that interurban. So what's going to happen is the two bridges, the automobile bridge and the interurban bridge, are going to be kind of, I guess, tied together, not 100%. They're going to be independent, but they're going to be so close that it's going to look like they're a part of each other. And as far as scratch building the highway bridge, or the automobile bridge as it were, I'm going to go back and use the foam core again. Hear me out. my thoughts are, and a lot of the bridges, highway overpasses, things of that nature around here are concrete. They're not steel, although they've got steel underlayment. That's easy that I can kind of fake that out. But they've got the steel, and in fact, I've got the steel pieces that Joe Rader sent over. I may end up using bits of that to make this bridge, but the decking of that is going to be the foam core. The side pieces, the jersey walls, as I've talked about in the past, will also be foam core. And then I'm going to dress it up with the brick, this same brick pattern that I've got here. I'm going to use that to dress it so that it's not just flat foam core looking whatever. Do they actually use brick for jersey walls? No, not nowadays. It's all poured concrete. However, going back in time, you have to remember this thing is supposed to be between 1950 and 1970. I'm thinking that poured concrete jersey walls really didn't exist back then. Well, what did you have in hand? Well, you had brick. That's one thing. So I'm thinking that that would make a really neat, with that big steel girder bridge down in front, the kit bashed one that I put together from Central Valley. That big massive thing sitting down in front, and then having something that's a little bit more, for lack of a better term, minimalistic up top, so it doesn't take away from that bridge. What I don't want to do, and the more I've thought about this, it's become more and more, it makes more and more sense. That's supposed to be a focal point, one of what will become many focal points down here. As you all know, there's a bunch of different things, there's a bunch of different scenes, so on and so forth, that are going to be down here that are going to, they'll bring it all together, but they're going to be individual scenes. One of the things I remember hearing, I don't know if it was from Model Railroader years ago, or if it was from Tony Custer, or even Howard Zane. You almost want to make a bunch of interconnected dioramas. That's what brings the railroad together as a whole. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So when you come down the steps, the first diorama that you see is that dam seam with that big, massive steel structure in front, and the minimalistic, interurban line and highway bridge behind it. And then obviously off to either side, once you get into the towns, that new retaining wall that I'm going to put up. I've got ideas. They're not great ideas, but they're ideas. Here again, trying to do things on the inexpensive side, trying to do things outside the box, and also showing that you don't have to spend tons of money to get something that looks like it belongs there. Granted, like I said, in the past when I had the old layout, I had that manufactured. I went ahead and built a faux highway bridge over from the downtown area to the urban area, and it looked okay. It was a good fill-in. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I know a lot more now than what I did when I built that thing, so it's going to change. But I think where I'm headed with this makes a lot of sense. So I think this thing's just about dry. We're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we'll swing over to the layout, and I'll show you what we got going on. Okay, so there we go. I still obviously have a lot of other little idiosyncrasies that I have to fix over here. With the sidewalls, I still have to finish gluing those. I had to add a piece of foam core to either side to get this to line up the way I wanted it to. But I'm quite pleased with at least the way the railroad bridge will look. And somewhere over here I had a piece of track. It's way too short, but I can at least lay that in there like that. Now that's a piece of the old fiber bed rail, but it gives you the idea as to what we're going, or what we've got going on here. Now, like I said, I'm going to take the brick sheets that I've got and I'm going to brick all the way around on these to go ahead and make it one piece, pretty much. Now, like I was talking about a little bit ago, you know, we'll have the foam core will be the bridge for the automobiles. This is going to be closer to 3 1/4 inches thick. I think that's pretty much what it used to be. So here's the other piece, and that's too wide. So that won't be the piece that gets used. I'll have to cut a new piece. Now, I talked about lining the to make the rail bridge look like that. Because like I said before, this is just way too industrial. I mean, it's way too heavy for interurban. So what I'm going to do is I've still got this plain sheet of styrene, and I'm going to glue it to the bridge, and then I'm going to basically use this as a template to make that bridge, or that bridge side. So that's kind of the idea there. And then, like I said, the back bridge, the automobile bridge, will be the brickwork and jersey walls, and it'll be made straight out of the foam core. I think this is going to look a lot better, especially when you step back and you're looking at this overall as a whole. You know, when you come down, you see this massive girder bridge, and then, or truss bridge, and then you'll have basically a minimal style bridge in the background. Like I said, I think it's just going to look a lot better and work out a lot better. So the thing is now is going ahead and tidying up a couple of loose ends up here, getting the brick there, the stonework fixed, so that way it all matches up, and get it cleaned up. Get the hillside here on both sides filled in, because I've got a little bit of a gap back here. I'm not even sure if that's showing up on camera or not. You know, I've got a gap back here I gotta fix. I got a gap on the other side I gotta fix. So yeah, I think this is definitely going to be the way to go. I think it looks a lot cleaner this way too. It's not as busy up here now with 2 sets of girders or bridge piers and everything else, and yeah, I think it's just a lot cleaner look. So that'll be, I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but it'll be shortly, and then I can go ahead and paint and get things started over here, get this really tidied up, and then we can move on. Because there's other things I want to do. I mean, here it is. People have asked, in fact, when they were over back in October, had asked if I was going to get the interurban line running again. I'd like to, but right now, until I finish with this bridge, obviously we're not going anywhere with it. So I got to move the camera so I can get to the remote, because I left it over here. So that's where we're at. So I will update folks when we get there. Okay, Trek Gang. I was hoping to have gotten a little bit further with this than what I did. I ran into a couple minor little things with this, but I did get it straightened out. And I've actually started modifying the bridge piers as well. So let me swing the camera here so you can actually see what it is that we've got. And there we are. I had to add a little bit of foam core to either side, so I've taken I had taken the rock wall off the sides. So I've got to put that back on. I went ahead and spliced together basically 2 of the number 12 Atlas bridge piers to be able to make one bridge pier. I still have to cover the top. I've done the sides. I also have to do the bottom, which I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But the reason why is, if I take this out of the way, there's a couple of gaps in this, and no, I haven't bothered trimming this piece off on the front. I was trying to hide the gap that was there, because the bottom of this is actually taller than what the piece of quarter round is here on the front. But we're getting closer. We're making progress. The next step here is going to be going ahead and actually probably wrapping the bottom with the really thin plastic that I've got. Did I ever turn the mic? Yeah, I did turn the mic on. Nice time to think about it. But wrapping the bottom with the really thin plastic to go ahead and hide those gaps. And then, of course, like I said, I'm going to put the brick on the top of this as well to hide those open holes from where I cut off the tops of the number 12s. But as you can see, like I said, it's basically two of them. There's one here, there's one here, and this here was actually a piece that I had cut when I was messing around with trying to make the walls for down the bottom. But you know, I decided not to go that route, and we went the other way. And yeah, so that is pretty much where I'm at with this. I just realized that there's somewhere along the way I lost one of the pieces that was up front here that's supposed to be part of the other bridge pier, or the end wall. I don't know where that could have possibly gotten off to. Probably down here on the floor someplace. In fact, there it is. Oh, I found it. I can put that back. I got to glue those on too. But anyway, that's pretty much where we're at with that. Got to zoom this thing back out, right? Sheesh. The only other thing of note here is the fact that we have the contest up for the 2023 Sidetrack Sunday car. This year's car is a tank car. Your choice, HO scale or N scale. You have to, there's a quiz. We decided to make a change to that quiz because of the fact that some folks it seems that folks are having a little bit of trouble with it. So instead of it getting 20, I think we're dropping it down to 15. 15 of the 25 correct, and you'll be in for the drawing. There will be a link in the description. The only thing that you really have to do is be subscribed to all 5 of us. Me, Heath, John, Rick, and Nisi. Actually, Nisi, Rick, John. You know the deal. Myself. You have to be a subscriber to all of us. And you have to just answer the questions. They're pretty simple. It's each one of the questions is something about each one of the 5 of us that did shows this year. And you know, it's just for fun. And then you'll be entered into the contest, which will be drawn on the 17th. That's when we're going to have the drawing. The contest ends at midnight on the 16th. That's 11:59 Eastern on the 16th. That will end. So we can go in and just double check to make sure that everything is good. And then we'll have the, like I said, we'll have the drawing on the 17th during the Christmas or the holiday live show. The other thing is as I've mentioned before, the 24th will be a premiere. We actually recorded that the other night. Since all of us are pretty busy, it's Christmas Eve, and I don't expect a whole lot of people to be watching it anyway. But because of the fact that, you know, normally 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Sunday, you know, people are looking for us, so you'll have to pardon me. Apparently my mustache is going up my nose and it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so that's all I've got for this week. You all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see you.